Hi, I'm here with Matthew Uden from W.uden&sons, Family Funeral Directors, and we're here having a nice cup of tea and a chat, and we're going to be talking about carrying the coffin at the funeral. Now, it's something that family members might want to do for their loved one, but it can be, I imagine, quite daunting. What would you say to someone who is thinking about undertaking that?
Yes, we often have lots of people ask about doing this. Always recommend that there's 4 family pallbearers or 6, and most importantly, it's very safe. We're by your side the whole time. We do a briefing, so before we start the funeral, we go through individually with each member of the family how to carry their loved one and what they need to do.
And about the different people involved,
yes.
Can it be a mixture of family members and you guys, professionals?
No, that's a good question. So basically it can either be all family members or all of ourselves.
And what about, say, my family? I'm the shortest,
yes.
And my cousins are really tall.
Okay.
Can that work if you've got really short people and really tall people?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in an ideal world, you're all exactly the same height, and we don't have short members of the family. Yeah. But actually, what we do is we position you so that when you arrive at the crematorium, you'll then come forward. We then place you at the back of the hearse. We'll place the shorter members of the family
me, right, yeah.
To the front, and the taller members of the family just behind them.
Okay.
Once we're then ready to make a start, the conductor will then place their hand on each shoulder member of the family.
Will that be you?
So yes, if I'm leading the funeral, so I'll come to you and I'll show you what shoulder you'll be carrying on and by which handlebar.
Okay.
So it's very important for family pallbearers stay and stand in exactly the same position, and as we bring their loved one out, that they place their hands underneath the coffin, not by the handle, right underneath. So then when you lift, you'll then be lifting and then facing the hearse, and then you'll then turn into the coffin and then place your shoulder underneath where it's instructed. So again, if I start from the beginning there, so the 2 shorter members of the family will be at the front. The coffin will then be, come out from the back of the hearse. Families will have their hands underneath. They'll feed their loved one through until you're basically into position. Your shoulder will then be in line with the front handlebar. The 2 people at the back, exactly the same. They stand in the same position. The coffin will be fed to them, and then once you're then in position and your loved one's safely in your hands, we then walk backwards to make sure we're past the tailgate. The tailgate is the back door of the hearse. When we then lift, we'll then lift onto our shoulders, and you then must make sure as you lift you face the hearse. Lots of people face the wrong way. That's why we tap you on the shoulder so you recognise what shoulder you're going to.
Well, I guess they're thinking they need to go that way.
Yes, they're thinking that they need to be facing the chapel and then walk towards the chapel. But you need to turn so the foot end of the coffin is the first thing what goes through into the chapel first.
Now, can I ask you, saying about putting it up on your shoulders, once it's there, what happens to your hands and your arms? What do you guys do?
Again, as professionals, we would always have our hands in front of us, hands crossed. With family members, the best advice I can give is make sure that you're comfortable. Some family members like to link their arms, some family members like to hold the coffin handle, and often they do both. Okay.
Right then, so then it's there, perhaps your linked arms or not, depending on what's comfortable, then you walk in.
Yes, well, before that, we turn to the chapel door.
Okay.
So again, the best way of explaining this, and it's you kind of shuffle. You shuffle towards the door. Yeah. So the people who's at the front, so you'll be at the front, will then shuffle until you're facing the door of the chapel. It's emotional. It's an emotional thing to do.
Yeah.
And physically testing. Once you're then facing the doors of the chapel, you start with your left foot first. If all family pallbearers start with their left foot first, it just makes it very smooth, and then you'll be carrying exactly how the professionals do it.
Okay, so then we go in.
Yes.
And are you still there at this point?
We're still by your side. Okay. We have bearers either side of all of you, each side, and we have the conductor leading the way through. Okay, we then lead the way through towards the catafalque. Before you ask, the catafalque.
Yes.
The catafalque is a platform where your loved one will then be placed as we go through into the chapel.
Oh, it's like a flat surface. You put the coffin down onto.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
So we pause just before the catafalque. We then lower down into hands. So you will hear the instruction to lower down into hands. Once we then lower down into hands, we place your loved one on the catafalque.
Right. Okay.
Have you got any questions?
Well, no. I think that's quite clear. Do you think we've told them all everything they need to know for this?
I'd like to think so,
Yeah.
but again, if there is any questions, feel free to give us a call before the day. I personally think this is a really good video to watch, because then you can actually see what you do, and rather than going into the unknown on the day, actually gives you a bit of advice as to what you need to do.
Well, great. Well, thanks, Matthew.
No,
nice talking to you. I feel a bit more reassured. Thank you.